Final Fantasy VII speedrunners have recently incorporated the most difficult skip that the game has ever seen, and in this video we're going to be breaking it down and explaining the whole process. I hope you guys enjoy. This is the Cosmo Canyon skip. The objective of the Cosmo Canyon skip is obviously to skip Cosmo Canyon. But how exactly do you do that? If you try to move past the canyon, the buggy will break down, making it impossible to cross the river before Nibelheim. So how do we get around this? The answer is a chocobo. And a lot of other crazy stuff. Let's get into it. Our goal is to obtain a glitch state with the chocobo that stores the interaction of the chocobo running away once we get off of it. Normally when you dismount a wild chocobo, it will run away. But if we dismount a chocobo in the desert, once we skip the dialogue with Cloud, he gets into this weird sliding state, and a duplicate dialogue box shows up. If we hop back into the buggy, we can use it to travel, and the chocobo will not run away, effectively storing the chocobo interaction. But why is this useful? Well, with the chocobo event stored, if we enter and exit the buggy right before the buggy is supposed to break down, the event of the buggy breaking down will be skipped entirely. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, not exactly. There's a couple problems here. Stepping out of the buggy is what causes the chocobo event to happen, but that's not the only thing that will cause the chocobo running away to happen. If you get an encounter at any time from Gold Saucer to Cosmo Canyon, you will lose the glitch state. Normally world map encounters are not a problem with the buggy because you can just repeatedly enter and exit the buggy in order to reset your encounter rate. This unfortunately cannot work here because if we ever leave the buggy, we will also lose the glitch state with the chocobo. So how on earth do we get around this? It's time to talk about world map manipulation. There's a couple things that factor into how world map encounters are initiated. First, the game factors in what the in-game time is when the world map is loaded. From here, changes in your X and Y coordinates affect what happens with the encounters, unlike how we use walking and running steps to manipulate encounters in normal fields. And finally, it is influenced by your camera position, but for this trick, we are just going to be keeping the static overhead camera. A thing to note about moving on the map, inputs on the world map can be treated differently depending on how you're buffering your movement when leaving an encounter or when opening or closing a menu. Now that world map encounters are explained, let's get into the skip. We start here in the Gold Saucer Desert, where we need to load the world map at a specific in-game time. In the speedrun, we also need to acquire the Big Guard from the Beach Plugs and the Aqualung enemy skill, which we will learn during the fight where we catch the chocobo. There are multiple in-game times that can work with this skip, and in-game times that are later in the game allow you to learn Big Guard early before the required in-game time, making the skip a little bit easier, but honestly not by a whole lot. The version of the skip that I'll be covering is one that does both encounters within the manipulation. So in the run, we receive the buggy from winning the chocobo race, and then we zone back into the desert to set up the manipulation. The menu is open, and the moment the desired in-game time is reached, the menu is closed and we load the world map. When we close the menu, we also start a timer that allows us to see how much time is passing while we can't visually see the in-game timer. From here, all movement on the world map needs to be pixel perfect for the rest of the skip. If there is any deviation in movement by even a pixel, the entire skip is lost. To top it all off, each in-game time that the skip works with has its own set of pixel perfect movement required. To start the movement off, we position the buggy and leave the buggy at this specific spot and head down to the Beach Plugs encounter by holding down until we reach this spot here. After Cloud reaches this position, we can hold right until the encounter is initiated. We quickly defeat the Beach Plugs while learning the Big Guard enemy skill, and then we wait in the victory screen in order to load the world map at the exact time we need. The goal here is to exit the victory screen after exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds has passed since we initially started the timer. A thing to note about this process is that if we do not reach the victory screen fast enough, the trick can still fail even if we close the screen at the desired time, because the victory screen needs to be open for a little bit of time for the trick to work. After exiting the Beach Plugs fight at the 1 minute 30 mark, we buffer a right input while the world map is loading. We also need to heal before this next fight, so the menu is open. Except we have to not be moving while the menu is opened here. After healing, we exit the menu, and the movement right is buffered while closing the menu. From here, we continue holding right until the Chocobo encounter. We quickly defeat the Harpy while learning Aqualung in order to catch the Chocobo, and we exit the victory screen after a minute 14 has passed. We then move left with the Chocobo until we're pushed back from the desert. We then set up the Chocobo storage explained earlier and enter the buggy. Now here is the insanely difficult part. We begin the long journey across the world map, reaching specific spots with many pixel-perfect setups and visual cues to guide ourselves across the world map without getting any encounters. Again, if we're off by a single pixel at any point here, the manipulation is gone. After we've traveled all the way, and once we've reached the spot where the buggy would normally break down, we quickly enter and exit the buggy to release our Chocobo storage and pass over the buggy breakdown trigger, effectively skipping Cosmo Canyon in the process. I cannot overstate how difficult this trick is to perform, let alone during a speedrun attempt. And it's just amazing in general that it exists at all. I hope you all enjoyed this explanation of the Cosmo Canyon skip. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more videos. What major developments do you guys see happening in the future of Final Fantasy VII speedrunning? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm also streaming Final Fantasy VII speedruns very frequently, so I would love to see you all on Twitch. All of my links are in the description. I'll leave you guys with a clip from my live stream of the skip being done in its entirety. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, and you know, it all becomes more worth it, like, the farther and farther you go into the game. Just because, like, you know, I'm not somebody who can, like, shave 10 more minutes off a run without updating the route. So, this skip becomes, like, the necessary progression if I want to keep moving forward, you know? I wouldn't recommend people start off, you know, learning the run with the skip, of course, but, it eventually becomes a necessary component. What's up, Blindside? I stopped right on it! I might make a clip of that first, Cosmo skip. Thinking about it. Okay. 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 5E and a 6E and a 7E and a 8E and a 9E and a pop. May have been buffering my movement into the menu there, though. I don't know. This might not work, but... we're gold. So normally we have Molotovs at this point, but in my practice save, I do not have Molotovs, which does make this fight harder in terms of getting the time. But, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. So yeah, when we reach Coral for the first time, we'll have Molotovs. But I actually skipped the shop to save time to reach the endgame time for the initial part of this manipulation. I kind of forgot that Molotovs are kind of necessary for, at least the Harpy fight. Well, almost necessary. Makes my practice a little bit harder, but hey, it'll be easier in runs. I always think I don't go down far enough for some reason. It's good. Wait, no. No way, no. This. Yes. Oh my god, that. That's scary. This.